Deborah Ann Holland. First Native U.S. Congresswoman. Congresswoman Holland grew up in a military family. Her father was a 30-year combat Marine who was awarded the Silver Star Medal for saving 6 lives during Vietnam, and her mother is a Navy veteran who was a federal employee for 25 years in Indian education. As a single mother, she volunteered at her daughter's school in order to afford an early childhood education. She struggled to put herself through college, earning degrees from the University of New Mexico and UNM Law School. She is a 35th-generation New Mexican who is an enrolled member of the Pueblo of Laguna, and also has Jemez Pueblo heritage. After running for New Mexico Lieutenant Governor in 2014, Holland became the first Native American woman to be elected to lead a state party. She used her experience reaching out to communities who are often forgotten during the electoral process during the 2 Obama presidential campaigns. During her time as state party chair, she traveled to Standing Rock to stand side by side with the community to protect tribal sovereignty and advocate vital natural resources. Starting in 2016, Holland has served as an honorary commander of Kirtland Air Force Base, which gives her a better understanding of its missions and effects on New Mexico's economy. After a lifetime of organizing communities to stand up for New Mexico families, Congresswoman Deb Holland was elected as one of the first Native American women to serve in Congress. She serves in leadership roles as the 116th Congress freshman class representative to the House Democratic Steering and Policy Committee, House Democratic Region 6 Whip, Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona, and Deputy Whip for the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Deborah Ann Holland, born December 2, 1960. Holland was born in Winslow, Arizona. She is an enrolled member of the Laguna Pueblo. The Pueblo people have lived on the land that is now the state of New Mexico since the 1200s, and Holland identifies herself as a 35th-generation New Mexican. Her mother, Mary Toya, a Native American woman, served in the United States Navy. Her father, Major John David Dutch Holland, a Norwegian Minnesotan, was an officer in the United States Marine Corps and recipient of the Silver Star for his actions in Vietnam. He was buried with full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery in 2005. As a child in a military family, Holland moved frequently. She attended 13 public schools across the United States before the family settled in Albuquerque, New Mexico, to be close to family who also belonged to the Laguna Pueblo. Holland graduated from Highland High School in Albuquerque. She has 3 sisters and a brother. After graduating from Highland High School, Holland worked at a local bakery. In 1988, she enrolled at the University of New Mexico, where she earned her Bachelor of Arts in English in 1994. 4 days after graduating, she gave birth to her daughter, Soma. As a single mother, Holland started a salsa company to support herself and her daughter. At times during this period, she did not earn enough money to afford housing and had to rely on friends for shelter. She also relied on food stamps at times. She earned her Juris Doctor in Indian Law from the University of New Mexico School of Law in 2006, but is not a member of the New Mexico State Bar. Holland became the first chairwoman elected to the Laguna Development Corporation Board of Directors, a Laguna-owned business created to strengthen the Laguna community and its economy. As chairwoman, she oversaw business operations for the second-largest tribal gaming enterprise in New Mexico and successfully advocated for the corporation to create policies and commitments to earth-friendly business practices. She served as the tribal administrator for the San Felipe Pueblo from January 2013 to November 2015. In 2012, Holland served as the state's vote director for Native Americans in Barack Obama's 2012 presidential re-election campaign. She served as the chair of Democratic Party of New Mexico Native American Caucus from 2012 to 2013. She ran for lieutenant governor of New Mexico in 2014. Her ticket, headed by then Attorney General of New Mexico Gary King, the Democratic nominee for governor of New Mexico, lost to the Republican ticket of Governor Susana Martinez and Lieutenant Governor John Sanchez. Holland was elected to a 2-year term as the chair of the Democratic Party of New Mexico in April 2015. During her tenure, New Mexico Democrats regained control of the New Mexico House of Representatives and the office of the New Mexico Secretary of State. Holland has been credited with rebuilding the state party after large defeats for Democrats in New Mexico in 2014. She raised enough money during her 2-year term as chair to pay off 7 years' worth of debt incurred under previous chairs. After the expiration of her term as state party chair, Holland announced her intention to run for the United States House of Representatives in New Mexico's 1st congressional district in the 2018 elections, to succeed Michelle Lujan Grisham, who was running for governor. Holland defeated Damon Martinez and Antoinette Sedillo Lopez to win the Democratic Party nomination in June 2018, receiving 40.5% of the vote and winning every county in the district. In the November 6 general election, Holland defeated former New Mexico State Representative Janice Arnold Jones, receiving 59.1% of the vote and winning 3 of the district's 5 counties. Her victory was part of a sweep of New Mexico that saw Democrats win every statewide and federal office on the ballot that year, along with expanding their majority in the New Mexico House of Representatives. In the November 3 general election, Holland defeated retired police detective Michelle Garcia Holmes, who ran for lieutenant governor of New Mexico in the 2018 gubernatorial election. Holland subsequently received 58.2% of the vote. Along with fellow Democrat Sharice Davids of Kansas, a member of the Ho-Chunk Nation, Holland is one of the first 2 Native American women elected to the United States Congress. During the swearing-in ceremony in January 2019, Holland wore traditional Pueblo dress, necklace, and moccasins. On March 7, 2019, during a debate on voting rights and campaign finance, Holland became the first Native American woman to preside over the U.S. House of Representatives. On December 17, 2020, President Joe Biden announced that he would nominate Holland to serve as Secretary of the Interior. She was confirmed by the United States Senate on March 15, 2021, by a vote of 51-40. Following her swearing-in on March 16, 2021, she became the first Native American to serve as a cabinet secretary and the second to serve in the cabinet, after Republican former Vice President and Kaw Nation citizen Charles Curtis. Varshinai Prakash, executive director of the influential Sunrise Movement, called Biden's appointment of Cedric Richmond as director of the Office of Public Engagement a betrayal because of his ties to the fossil fuel industry. President-elect Biden ran on a promise to act decisively to combat the climate crisis, signed a pledge not to let his campaign be unduly influenced by fossil fuel corporations or their money, and said leaders of fossil fuel companies would not be involved in his transition, Prakash said earlier this month. Young people helped deliver him a landslide victory powered by historic youth turnout all across the country, with the hopes that those promises would extend to keeping fossil fuel corruption out of his administration. But Prakash issued a strong statement of support for Holland within hours of the news being announced. "Today is a historic day," Prakash said. Joe Biden campaigned on a promise to heal the soul of America. "I cannot think of a single greater act to begin that promise than by giving a Native American woman authority over the nation's stolen land and allowing her to begin the process of restoring relationships with our nation's First Peoples. Thank you, Joe Biden, for listening to the unprecedented groundswell of support that united behind Deb Haaland. There is no one better to lead the Department of the Interior."